Good afternoon, everyone. My name is April Brown, and I am interested in becoming a family and marriage counselor or social worker in prisons, helping families with an incarcerated member of their family. In each of these professions, it's important to build rapport with clients. So, I'm going to discuss three social psychology concepts that can allow me to build rapport more quickly and effectively. These three concepts are displaced aggression, sense of self, and reciprocal self-disclosure. Now, displaced aggression, what this is this occurs when negative emotions caused by one person trigger aggression toward a different person. So, for example, if a spouse has a bad day at work due to their boss and comes home and takes it out on their spouse, or a number of things they could be on their way home from work. Someone cuts them off and it just puts them in a bad mood, and they come home and the same thing. They take it out on their spouse. They're not really mad at them, but that's where their anger is coming out. For someone who is incarcerated, say an incarcerated father is in a violent and stressful environment and he's just filled with anger. So anytime he talks to his family, he takes it out on them. That would be displaced aggression. So one way that I can help these people is I would recommend a form of catharsis, which is basically engaging in a less harmful aggressive actions, and it will help to reduce the tendency to act aggressively towards someone who doesn't really deserve it and it's not really geared towards. So, such as exercising or screaming. Sometimes just screaming helps to let out and release some of that anger. Sometimes, hitting a bag or a pillow, or even writing out all of their negative thoughts and then just destroying the paper. So you've written them out and you've destroyed them. Your sense of self. So self is our sense of our personal identity and of who we are as individuals. So our sense of self affects our self-esteem and how we view ourselves. In marriage, it's easy to lose your self-identity, especially if you have children. When you marry, you kind of become one, and then especially if you have children, it's easy to get into those roles of spouse, mother, and you just kind of lose who you are without that role. And so people in prison are also kind of stuck in time and they lose their sense of identity as people, as parents, as children, as siblings, because they can be out in the real world with everyone else and fulfill those roles and duties and do what they're supposed to do. And so in those scenarios as well, it's easy for them to lose their sense of self. So what I would recommend to my clients to kind of help build rapport would be to do something that doesn't involve anyone else in their family, something that gives them a feeling of accomplishment separate from their roles as wife or husband or as parents. So something that would really give them something that is theirs and not anyone else's. For my clients in prison, I would recommend the same to the best of their ability for their situation. And I would also recommend frequent contact with their family members to hold on to those familiar roles and bonds. And so even though they may be in prison and they can't, provide motherly duties or fatherly duties and do what they're supposed to, they could still keep that form of communication open and frequent and to the best of their ability, try to remain in those familiar roles. Finally, reciprocal self-disclosure, which this is the tendency to communicate frequently without fear of reprisal and in an accepting and empathetic manner. So this is important for either either profession. So successful marriages require frequent, effective communication. That's how you build trust. And anytime anything's bothering you, you need to be able to go to your spouse and talk to them without fear of, retaliation or judgment or anything like that. So for my marriage counseling clients, I would recommend designating a time to talk once a week where they only talk about their relationship. Everything else is off limits. Work, kids, money, etc. They can only talk about their relationship. And this will help to really open up the self-disclosure where they can talk about things that maybe have been bothering them or how they're feeling. And they can kind of do this together and work together to build a better marriage. For my clients in prison, I would recommend the same, discussing the importance of communicating feelings when they communicate with their loved ones. And this is especially important for their children. So, children of incarcerated parents are going to have all these negative feelings about their parents not being there. And, they need to be able to, whenever they write or speak to their parents or go visit them, tell them how they're truly feeling without fear of judgment or fear that their parents may get angry at them. So basically, these three terms, displaced aggression, sense of self, and reciprocal self disclosure, can all help my clients struggling in their marriages or affected by incarceration, whether they themselves are incarcerated or have a loved one who is. I also believe that displaced aggression and reciprocal self disclosure go hand in hand. Open, effective communication without that fear of reprisal will help to reduce any displaced aggression someone may be feeling. Thank you.